Now, for updates on sports stories across the globe, Aaron Akere-Jola joins us now. Good morning, Aaron. How are you today?
Good morning to you, Vumbai. Good morning to you, Doctor. Good morning to you, Rufai.
Morning.
All right, there's been talk about the Jollof Derby, and we'll be having, we had one, as a matter of fact, we had one yesterday, and we're going to be having another, all right, later on today. Let's talk about the fact that at the ongoing African Games, which will be crescendoing tomorrow, I must say, it's been fantastic. But yesterday, the Falconers went against their Ghanaian counterparts, and it was a very, very tight affair. And ultimately and unfortunately for the Falconers, they actually lost that one in extra time. 2-1 was how we actually ended against the Falconers. And I must actually say it's really sad, but they literally did a smash and grab, talking about the Ghanaian cadet team actually hitting one there and celebrating, and that was actually the decider in the first half of extra time. But as we actually build up, probably this might just be an instructive lesson, because away from Ghana, in Morocco, later on today, by 9 p.m., the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be taking on the Black Stars of Ghana. Just reprising that particular that rivalry, and more importantly, hoping that they can inflict one against their eternal rivals, and more importantly, not just inflicting it, but also sending a message out there. But let's see how it actually plays out today. Remember, the Super Eagles will be playing Mali also. So let's see, moving on from there. Quickly, let's talk about the fact that the African Games has really been one to actually cherish. And more importantly, our athletes, especially the female athletes, especially the athletics team, kudos must actually go to them in droves, because they've literally shone the light. They are a beacon of hope, and they are a reminder that if we put our acts together, we can actually dominate, and not just dominate on the continent, also dominate globally. The likes of Bruma, the likes of Toby Amusa, and the rest of them have been doing very well, because you look at the medal table today, we are still nailed to second, because Egypt have actually probably blitzed the trail. We are still nailed to second, but we've really done well. Now we're actually at par with South Africa in the number of medals, 98. But our gold medals, 37 of them, which is way more than the 29 South Africa does have, actually puts us in that particular stead to finish second once again. But in the history of the games, we have actually garnered over 300 major medals in athletics, and that is a record, and kudos to the team there. Whether they will be given the glorious and that very enviable treatment like the Super Eagles got is left to be seen. But in the meantime, in the UK, there are still talks about the fact that nobody is getting cash physically, Rufai, because some things have actually changed. All you need to do as an athlete is to submit your account details to the CBN. It's the CBN that will credit you. So that has actually created a lag as against ministry staffs paying the athletes directly, and maybe even shortchanging them when they want to pay them directly. A lot of people the people that Amaju Pinnick and the rest of them actually championed this, and I'm saying that it's still the best way out. There might be a lag, but you are certain that if your details are complete with the CBN, you will get paid. And 1 naira, not even a kobo, will be taken out of it. Good one, I must actually say. Away from that, Leicester City quickly have actually been charged because they've actually, according to an independent investigation, they've actually breached the Premier League sustainable and profitability rules. And it's unfortunate that this has actually played out in the last 3 years they were in the Premier League, and they overspent, and right now the Premier League are still looking at this deeply, and they might dock Leicester City points. Leicester City right now are on the cups of also returning back to the Premier League, but with this hanging over their shoulders, they would have to rethink that, and they'll be hoping that the penalty is not that grave. And finally, Robinho has been found guilty, and he will serve his 9-year jail sentence in Brazil. He's been evading justice as the Italian court has been trying to push for an extradition for Robinho to move to Italy to serve the 9-year jail sentence for rape. And he's been denying it. Of course, one day he will never forget in his life, 22nd of January 2013, at the CEO Club in Italy, where there were talks that he reportedly raped a girl, a 23-year-old Albanian. He was 28 at the time. He's 40 right now, retired from football, but the long arm of justice has finally caught up with him.
I mean, for Robinho and other Brazilians, I mean, if you just only remember the case of Dani Alves, you know, it's just a very sad one. And really for Robinho particularly, this was the star that never shone. This guy was supposed to be the next Pelé.
According to Pelé himself.
According to Pelé himself. But, you know, unfinished, we'll call it unfinished, unfulfilled greatness.
Yes.
That's what Robinho was. And it was because of his behavior. So I think he should learn a lesson. I think other footballers too should learn a lesson. You know, Anthony too recently just came through the marks and he was vindicated, but they should also learn a lesson as regards things like that. And I think George Best, you know, said it well, that what ruined me, booze, beds, and fast cars. Every footballer should be wary of those three things. Booze, beds, and fast cars. Booze, alcohol, beds, obviously. Women, you know, the beds and fast cars. And I think...
All right, very
Dr.
quickly.
Dr. Bate, why are you looking at me like that?
I'm going to very quickly interject as the only bird here. The Jollof Derby, you know, of course, the last major outing we saw was AFCON. Yeah. Ghana's morale was, of course, at an all-time low. We saw how Ghanaians, players, supporters, everybody treated that national team after those defeats in AFCON. So it will be interesting to see how they've bounced back. The Ayo brothers, excuse me, you know, are they in better spirits and ready to take on a Nigeria that also did fantastically well at AFCON as well? So be looking forward to seeing how that plays out.
Hopefully, Leicester City, Everton, Nottingham Forest. Who is next? What the rule says, the Premier League rule says, is that every 31st December, by then, you must have submitted the audited accounts of your club. But these clubs, you know, they play games with it. And now you find this development with Leicester City, which seems to be doing well in the championships after relegation last season, you know, from the Premier League. That's number one. Number two, the lesson of Robinho is that fame and wealth cannot take you away from the law once you run foul of the law. True. Now, the highest court in Italy upheld the sentence in 2022, but because he was in Brazil, they asked Interpol to be on the lookout for him. Okay, he claimed he was under house arrest, but the Italians now said he can serve the jail term in Brazil, and he tried to fight it. On Wednesday, this week, the High Court said, no, you have a case to answer. The matter went all the way to the Supreme Court. On yesterday, the Supreme Court, you must serve the sentence, and it's 9 years for gang rape. So whether you are famous or you are wealthy, you are not above the law. True. A couple of updates. The other day we were discussing Bright Osayi Samuel, and I said some people were praising him for his character expertise. Now he's going to face a disciplinary committee, the Turkish Football Federation Disciplinary Committee, on April 2, and he faces the possibility of a 10-match ban. So focus on your football. Yes. Don't go and do karate. But he will plead, of course, that he was engaged in self-defense. The other story we discussed the last time you were here was about the jersey, Nigerian jersey and kids. Now they are having the same issue in England now. Yes, because the coat of arms, St. George's flag, they are saying that Nike tampered with the colors. Even Sir Keir Starmer, the Labour leader, is involved in it, saying, no, Nike did wrong. So when Nigerians complain about our own jersey too, about too much white and not enough green, white, green, then you can see that Nigerians are not alone.
Nike,
Even the British
like to be experimental.
Yeah, well,
they like to think themselves as forward-thinking people.
Yeah, but the word Niger must be changed. It's Nigeria.
Don't change the color of St. George's flag. That's what the British are saying.
All right.
Or the English, rather, to be specific.
All right. Aaron, thank you so much for
Always a pleasure.
the sports update.